Is A24 still indie? I know it's listed as indie, but at this point I feel like A24 is pushing the line. It's towing the line a little bit, maybe. But it's still, because I guess I would consider it indie because it gives the artists basically the freedom to still do what they want. They're without a lot of studio interference. So I guess that's maybe where the line would be drawn. But A24 handed the youngest filmmaker in its history a bunch of money to do something that he's been doing since he was 16. So who was able to see Backrooms?
I saw half of it.
You saw half of it?
You guys have to be on your spoiler alerts.
Yeah, we're actually going to see it right after the broadcast. Yes. We tried seeing it opening weekend, and all of the theaters were totally booked. Yeah. Like the screen. We wanted to see it in Dolby, and those were all like completely sold out, except for the first row. Like we're not going to do the first row.
No. So, I don't recommend first row for this one either. Oh. This was one... This gave me... So how many of you have actually seen the YouTube shorts that Kane Pixels did?
I saw half of them. I saw half of the playlist.
Yeah. So there's... I don't think you can spoil this movie, in all honesty. I think I could tell you the ending, and it's not going to, like... It's not going to spoil a thing for you, but I won't. I'll try not to. I'll try not to, because... It is very much like an hour and 45-minute version of his YouTube shorts. It is, you get more story, you get more character, you get some great sequences in it, but it's clear there's still more to this story. We have just seen a chapter. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, I think that is why a lot of people, this movie has been more divisive than Obsession from what I've seen. More people have not loved this movie. And I think a lot of that has to do with the ending. It is very open-ended. And I'm fine with that. I went into it kind of just wanting a more fleshed out YouTube short. And that's what I got. So I was very thrilled with this movie, walking out of it. It had... Where Obsession had the best jump scare of the month by far, this movie had the biggest... Hey, Aaron.
Hey,
Aaron. We're talking Backrooms, bud.
Very cool. Can you guys hear me?
Welcome. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Nice to see everyone.
Glad you're here, Aaron. This movie had some of the, like, tensest moments that I've had in theaters for a while. There are a couple... I think there are two like found footage sequences in this film that I thought were super effective. They were also the sequences that, much like Jessica, my wife had to close her eyes. She told me afterwards, she was like, I was about to go out to the car and let you finish the movie because she was sick. She was physically ill. And that is one of the things we were talking about later that I think was awesome about this movie. It's not just that the found footage made people ill. I think the set design, the whole idea of the Backrooms being something that looks familiar but wrong is making people physically ill watching this movie, because it is such a I kept thinking like the uncanny valley idea of like, it looks like it's supposed to be human, but it's not, that whole situation for this film with like, that's supposed to be somebody's living room, and it's clearly not. I was thoroughly blown away by this 20-year-old's first theatrical film. I thought he did a killer job. I've seen a lot of people online be like, oh, it was ghost directed by other people, whatever. And Duplass, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, he came out and was like, no. He's in it for like 5 minutes total. Spoilers. He came out and was like, no, Kane did this. He kind of took that Creepypasta story and ran with it on YouTube and turned it into what it is today. And the movie freaked me out. It was fantastic. I loved it. If you're looking for a solid ending, this movie doesn't provide it. So that would be my consideration going into this film.
I also loved it. So I'm not being a contrarian this time, but I kind of am, because I know there's people on our panel who didn't like it that much. But I really liked it. I thought, I don't know, I knew about the YouTube videos ahead of time, and that kind of intrigued me. So that kind of lent a little bit of intrigue, and but I didn't go in blind, I guess. So I think it would have been even more effective if I had gone in blind. But I don't know. I feel like it adds a little extra something if you watch the YouTube videos. I think it's just a fun little background thing, extra thing. But overall, I thought it was awesome. I thought it had great character development. I even didn't mind that it had like slow burn feel. I kind of like that in movies sometimes. So I don't know why I liked that one so much. I could clearly easily say I liked it, whereas Obsession is like, well, I don't like it. Well, now maybe I do, but I don't know. This one, maybe I'm a sucker for like visuals and artsy movies, but I can't believe a 20-year-old directed it. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. That's the part that blows my brain, that it's 20-year-old. He started doing this when he was 16. I think the first Backrooms video he did was 16 or 17 years old, and he's been doing it ever since on his YouTube, just kind of doing, I think the longest segment on his YouTube is 45 minutes. And everything else is like 10 minutes long. Mm-hmm. And that's just what he's been doing. And he was doing it all in Blender, creating this world himself. And seeing the built sets that they did for this is also, for those of you who aren't familiar, I can't remember if we mentioned it. We might have. You can watch the YouTube segments that he's done, and it helps you enhance the story you saw on the screen. Yeah. They are not super intertwined in where you need to see that. But if you're wondering about the organization, you get a little bit about the organization in the movie. You can also go to YouTube and find out a lot more about the organization that's there. You get enough to understand what's happening on screen. It's kind of like we're seeing one corner of the Backrooms and what's happening, and his YouTube is another corner of the same facility. So they share the space, but they're separate stories. So the YouTube is good stuff. It is definitely, obviously, much lower budget. But just the idea that A24 was like, hey, this guy on YouTube's made this really popular thing. Let's let him make a movie about it. I think is incredibly awesome.
Yeah.
Incredibly awesome.
Tim, would you say for those of us who have not seen it, should we watch the YouTube videos first or after?
You don't have to.
I would almost say watch the theatrical release, and if you like what it's doing, check out the YouTube shorts. Okay. Because my wife hated all of it, by the way. She liked Obsession. She gave Backrooms 0 out of 10. She said 0 out of 10. She hated it. She hated it. She liked Obsession, hated Backrooms. Yeah. Yes. And part of that is because it made her physically ill.
Okay.
And it made her physically ill. And so that definitely impacted her opinion of it. I was sitting there like grinning like a kid in a candy store the whole time. I was like, yeah, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. So I was loving it. But so I would say if you watch the movie and you like what the movie did, check out the YouTube stuff, because it's just going to explore the world of Backrooms a little bit more. We kind of get basically the concept of Backrooms. I don't think this spoils anything, is especially because it's been on YouTube. It copies what it sees, but its memory is flawed. And so the thing that really stood out in the movie with me is they explain it as in, it's like describing a dog to someone who's never seen a dog and then asking them to draw it. And that's kind of the whole premise of the Backrooms. And I 100% understand why some people are not liking this movie, because it gives 0 answers to stuff. It's very open-ended. It just kind of gives you enough to understand what's happening, but there's no solution. And I kind of walked away was like, I would rather have an open ending. I don't ever want to find out that the Backrooms is some like underground alien UFO facility, whatever, because much like Stranger Things telling us that the Upside Down is a wormhole, I don't want the magic destroyed. Don't tell me that this is it, because someone's going to be upset. So I would rather just have
purgatory.
that.
Yeah, the whole purgatory explanation for things.
Yes, I would rather have it be kind of this mysterious thing that exists and we don't understand it and we explore it. And this movie does kind of leave it open to where we could have 15 Backroom sequels, because there's a line in the movie that says, "It is everything that has ever been."
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, more stories. Tell me more. Let's go.
Also, there were doors opening everywhere and we don't know why, or like there's no rhyme or reason, so they can open anywhere.
At the end of the movie, did they say follow, like, subscribe?
No. They popped up the little thumbs up thing at the bottom of
Support the channel.
Part of me I could get involved pretty heavily in the debate of should the next movie follow the found footage aspect of Backrooms, which the YouTube does, or should it continue the traditional film version. I thought Kane did an excellent job of balancing. I think he was better at the found footage stuff. I think the found footage stuff, which, Jessica, at what point did you walk out?
I believe it was right around the time the Christmas tree appeared for the first time.
Oh.
And
that is
let me tell you this. I don't know if it was motion sickness. I have epilepsy, but I am not photosensitive, so lights and things don't usually bother me. But I had such a strange reaction to watching the movie. I think it may have given me a seizure, because I don't have traditional, like, you see in movies type of seizures. I genuinely think I had an absent seizure in the theater, because I felt sick, like I had one for the rest of the day. So I don't know what it was about the way that they did, because seriously, flashing lights don't bother me at all. Don't do anything. This, something about the way they shot it. And found footage doesn't usually bother me. They did something
right
in the making of the film that made it look like that, and it's not surprising to me that it's making a lot of people sick.
Yeah,
but I will say, before I got sick, I'm not excited to go back. It felt like walking through a haunted house, and like, here's a room, here's a scary thing jumping out at you. Here's a room, here's a scary thing jumping out at you. But based on if I left when there was a Christmas tree on the screen, I don't know if anything got better after that.
So I do think you left during what I thought was the scariest scene of the film. There's definitely more scares coming later. But the sorry, Aaron, can you see yourself?
I cannot. No, and I think I'm muted.
No,
I
can hear you.
Am I on this?
Can everybody see Aaron?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on stage, Aaron.
So weird then. It says I'm muted.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. No, I saw a message from Aaron, and I was like, Aaron, you're on stage, bud. Yeah, you're here.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. I think that scene that you walked out was the most effective found footage scares that I've seen in years. That stuff was so good. And then we kind of get some more explanation of what happens during that. That was great. And also, it still manages to be scary, but it does kind of, I don't know. Yeah, I think you should just experience it. But like I said, I definitely think just the oddity of this movie is like going into a room and it being like the ceiling matches with the floor in the next room, or there's a hole filled with chairs, or this hole has like a door. Like the funhouse aspect of it is 100% what I think is what is affecting people.
Sounds like House of Leaves.
Oh, it's definitely inspired by House of Leaves.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
For sure.
No doubt.
Yep. It is I am hearing Well, I am believing that the funhouse aspect of it is absolutely what is leading to a lot of the physical reactions to the film. Is that not only is it found footage, but you're found footage in a house that warps reality, and it messes with your stomach. It messes with you. And I loved that. I ate up. I thought it was fantastic. I love the idea of you are in a brightly lit space and you are wandering through these yellow hallways, and I am just constantly filled with dread. What is around this corner?
I also loved how they had a sound for the
Yeah.
Backrooms too. Like it has a distinct sound
The
when you're in
fluorescent
there.
light hum.
Exactly, and I love that. I think it works so well with that. It's like kind of makes you uneasy.
It
reminds me-
weaponizes mundanity.
Yes,
Yes.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's because everybody can relate to that, and I don't know. I thought, man, it's definitely not going to be for everybody. There's no doubt about it. But
Yeah.
and I mean, like the YouTube stuff, I like a lot, but I've never finished the whole thing. This is really. It's just, and the House of Leaves thing that's been optioned. I mean, I read that book over 20 years ago, and as long as I have read that book, and thought about it, which I think about it still probably at least a couple times a week, right? It's been optioned, and nobody's ever made it because I'm pretty sure everybody in Hollywood was like, oh, I don't know how to actually make this movie, the Navidson record and blah, blah, blah in the house. And then this 20-year-old comes along and makes it. He's like, yeah, that's kind of how you make it next. It's amazing.
It was an experience. I mean, I'll jump in here. I guess the problem I had with it is
Yes.
that there's no explanation given.
I
I
like
think-
that.
I think we said that right before you joined, is how I actually
did you?
like that. Well, I said
like
that I
it.
actually like that there's no explanation, because sometimes I think the explanations ruin the storytelling, the magic of what you're experiencing. And this one keeps it totally like, our explanation is, we have no idea what it is. We found it. Like, great. That's awesome. It's awesome.
And there's even more of it. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but there's more of it to come, and they kind of allude to that in the end. So I'm definitely fascinated. That was probably my only complaint there.
Yeah.
I actually have some dread going to go see it now because, like, you guys are not selling it. Like, did anyone see was it House on Eden that came out last year with those YouTubers and
TikTokers.
the TikTokers? Oh my God. I have never been physically sick watching a movie, but I really did think I was going to throw up or have to, like, leave the theater.
So that's why we're not selling it?
I
Yeah.
don't think this is that bad.
It's not.
Okay. I think if you're super sensitive to the found footage, but I even like Missy from the Horror Vision, like really felt like they were swinging the camera like all over, and I'm like, I didn't feel like that.
I didn't think so either.
There are moments, especially in the opening, which is found footage, where I felt like there were points where I'm like, it's a little gratuitous that he's trying to work this communication thing and he's still holding the camera. Like, you know,
Set it down.
It set it down, right? Which they do later. There's a scene where somebody does that. But I didn't think it was, you know, but I guess if you are sensitive to it, you will
I'm
be
not
sensitive.
usually. I love found footage, and House on
It'll be
Eden was
okay.
the only one where it was like, oh my God, put the
The last
camera down.
movie that made me sick in theaters was Neon Demon. So if you can watch Neon Demon, you're fine.
Well, Neon Demon is another ick movie, right? Like,
Yeah.
but that's his whole thing. It's like, look at these images you want to look at because they're gorgeous, but underneath, it's going to make you feel disgusting for looking at them. That's what NWR does. It's a specialty.
So bring your own barf bag, like BYOB.
Yeah, just be prepared, Elise. Just go ready, knowing it's a dizzying experience.
Okay, so empty popcorn bucket.
I was going to say, a giant bucket of popcorn.
Yeah.
I think the popcorn
John.
bucket, you know, the popcorn bucket, you know, now it's a big thing. I think it is a barf bag, but it's like yellow.
Yeah.
Right. You gotta finish the popcorn first.
My AMC didn't have one. Is there a popcorn bucket
What?
for the movie?
I didn't see one.
Just-
Yes, it was the
It's a barf
async
bag.
The hazmat.
yellow. Yeah, the hazmat suit.
Oh,
Brian said. Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Was that at AMC? I didn't see it the other night.
I don't know if it was at AMC.
No,
I think
probably
they all
sold out.
sell out like a month before the movies actually come out. These days, people go
so
buy
they were
them in
gone.
advance. So
Insane.
you can probably find a Grogu to puke in if you want.
Yeah, there it goes.
Oh, you had one of those that no one's buying. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We went into this. Normally, my wife is a popcorn and drink person during movies. I am not, because I don't want to have to go to the bathroom an hour and a half into the movie. We both got drinks for this one. Hers was entirely untouched the entire film because it started and she got sick and she was closing her eyes in the first opening scene. So I do think that's an important thing to bring up if you're watching this and thinking about the Backrooms. It is making people physically ill in theaters. I agree with Sean. I didn't think the found footage was especially shaky or anything we haven't seen before. It's
not. I can't explain what it was, but
see, that is
so sick.
That is why I think it is the uncanny valley situation of the abstract architecture combined with the found footage is upsetting to your equilibrium. And I think that is, to me, that is a super high praise for what Kane at 20 years old was able to do for this film. Where Obsession gives us the ick because of the thematic elements going on in this. This one gives us the ick because it is upsetting our equilibrium. And I think it's two very different types of horror, both done extremely well by two of the youngest people in the business. I love it. I'm so high right now on just horror in May being great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will be buying Backrooms when it comes out. I loved it, but I also can say, and I think I said it at the beginning, I totally understand why some people wouldn't. Like Aaron said, the lack of explanation, the lack of ending, I can understand why some people are unhappy with that. But to me, I'm just like, hey, I got everything I wanted. I loved Kane's use of liminal photography, even though he filmed it, but there's just like scenes of parking lots.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was very much, if you see liminal space stuff on Instagram, which I love that stuff. I don't know why. I get sucked into that stuff every time I see it. I loved his use of that, but at first it feels like filler. He's putting it in between story elements. And then it comes around full circle at the end and we start to see some of it. And I thought it was really well done, way more than I would expect for a 20-year-old filmmaker making his first theatrical big budget film. Big budget. It was less than $100 million. But I think it was $30 million. It already made like 500% its budget back this weekend, is what I read. So insane.
Crazy. I was looking at the AMC app every 15 minutes, and a lot of them were sold out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think like Titanic, but very different.
Yes. Well, and I think this movie is appealing to a generation of people who have grown up watching YouTube. So when I taught junior high, I would let the kids, every kid had a Chromebook. I was teaching art class. And I was like, if you want to have something on while you're drawing, by all means do it. That's what I do. When I'm creative, I have music on, I have YouTube on, I have something happening in the background. So I would let the kids do it. And these junior hires are all on YouTube. It is a YouTube generation of people just watching YouTube. And I think that's showing up at the theaters. My theater was full, and it was full of families, which I don't expect for an R-rated horror release.
Right.
It is moms and dads with their 13-year-olds. And I was surprised by that. And I think it is definitely something pretty unique to the genre.
But also, did you guys have the experience where, like, my theater was full? I saw it at 1:30 p.m. yesterday. And it was largely, I mean, I'm 50. It was people much younger than me. And usually I go Thursday nights because there's not many people there. And if I have to go see a new movie on Saturday, it's going to be a younger crowd. And they just I curate my experience where I'm zoned in. I don't eat same thing. I don't want to I just want to focus on the movie. I want it to control me, and that's not the case. People are jumping seats, talk, whatever. You could have heard a pin drop in the theater, a full theater filled with mostly 20-year-olds or whatever. And the movie also has one of the guys on the Horror Vision, Anthony. He'll refer to stuff like "Don't Look Now" or "The Shining." He'll be like, 70s pacing, And I like.
There's 70s nothing pacing. Wrong with 70s pacing.
I love 70s pacing. Dude, I love 70s pacing, right? But I don't expect a 20-year-old to necessarily who has been watching YouTube for most of their life, But this kind of had 70s pacing. I mean, the character development. I was shocked because that's we had Iron Lung and Skinamarink, two movies where. Skinamarink, I think that director's YouTube stuff is amazing, and I just the first movie I've walked out of in I don't know how long. I was like, okay, you're just going to shoot the corner of the room. I'm gone. I keep meaning to give it another shot, but in Iron Lung, I just didn't care for it. But it's like they're taking these tone pieces, these visual tone pieces, and somebody's giving them money to make a film out of it, and I just don't think it works. And part of it is the character thing, and Kelsey, I could definitely say I see what you're saying about some of the character stuff in Obsession, which is another YouTube to cinema kind of transfer. But with this, I really thought the character development was great. The scene with Clark and Mary when they're working through the play acting, I was like, holy shit! I didn't expect it.
The mirror of it is where I was like, oh, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
This is...
Yeah.
There were people in the theater that clapped. A whole row, at least. A whole group of people. When it was over, they clapped. And I was like, I haven't been in a movie where someone clapped in forever. Now, take this with a grain of salt. I do remember the last time it happened. It was the Power Ranger movie when they did, they had the theme song, and I was like, hell yeah! And then I clapped as well. I will say when the Power Ranger theme came on, but I did not clap at the end. But I really loved Backrooms, so I was like, yeah, but I did not clap.
That's a common reaction.
I 100%. I think my final reaction. Oh, I have to mention the music to the Backrooms. So the music I thought was another layer of absolutely brilliant is we get in the movie the description that basically the Backrooms is remembering things, and every time it remembers worse. And that's why things appear the way they do. I thought as the movie went on, the music resembled traditional music less than at the beginning. It started to just be discordant, weird sounds that added to the atmosphere, like it was somebody who had been told what music is and they were trying to recreate it. And I was like, this is brilliant. I thought that was so good. And it's just a little touch. There is still a thread of okay, I recognize this as music, but for the most part, it was this makes no sense. And so I kind of want to go back and listen to the soundtrack to this film. If it is it even, I'll check Apple Music later. But I want to find out if it's there, because it was just a bizarre liminal space music that didn't make sense. So that was a weird one.
That's really interesting. So, okay, I first saw the YouTube stuff in 2024. Some friends showed me it, and I struggled. There was something about it. It reminded me of in the 2000s. There was a musical movement called hauntology, and it was a lot of people like Caretaker and so many artists where they would take pre-existing stuff and kind of recycle it, and it's just kind of junk music, and recycle it and make something different from it. And it had a very haunted liminal quality to it. And most of it was based on Boards of Canada's music. I mean, I never saw any of these artists say, I love Boards of Canada, but it just kind of, it's a through line. So I don't know if anybody knows Boards of Canada's music, but recently, like 2 weeks ago, I rewatched a bunch of the YouTube Backrooms stuff, and I was like, oh my God, I get what this reminds me of. It looks like Boards of Canada sounds. There's all this analog equipment that doesn't quite work, and blah blah blah, snippets of vocal samples or whatever. And then Boards of Canada released their first album in 13 years on Friday, and this movie opened on Friday. I saw it Saturday, so I listened to the album Friday. I go see this Saturday. The song on the closing credits is Boards of Canada from the new record. I was like, oh my God, it is an influence. Like, there's no doubt it's an influence. It completely blew me away.
I have to check that out now. Message that in the group chat later, because I'll forget Boards of Canada by the time.
If you don't know them, Tim, if you like liminals, they are the definition of liminal.
Oh, cool.
Like, oh my God, it's you'll be like, I've heard this before, but you haven't.
So I think that covers Backrooms.